Hi guys, today I have a 1993 4Runner with leaking head gaskets. It came in leaking coolant and also pressurizing the cooling system. We did a block test and found that indeed the head gaskets were leaking. So at this point we got approval to replace them. So what I'm going to do is take some video shots of the process, not step by step per se, but I'll take a few breaks and show what I've taken apart. Hopefully that helps you if you ever come across one of these. What I'm doing here is just kind of taking some good pictures of all the hoses, coolant lines, and how everything's routed. Throttle cables, vacuum lines. Just kind of get a good idea of where everything needs to be put back. So far at this stage I've removed the battery, the radiator, fan shroud, fan, box, intake boots, some other coolant hoses. So far not too bad. At this point I've removed the intake. There's a few vacuum lines and a fuel line on the left side of the intake that needs to be unhooked. Gives you an idea of what we're looking at here. These are all those vacuum lines. One thing that's challenging to deal with is getting this power steering pump out of the way. You need to pull the nut off there at this 17 millimeter. It's a little tricky if you don't have a 3/8 impact wrench, but makes getting this power steering pump out and out of your way a lot easier. When it came time to remove the crankshaft balancer, I discovered that the bolt was on there super tight, so tight that I couldn't remove it with my 1/2-inch impact gun, so I had to resort to removing the front pulley off the balancer and using a bar that I bolted to it, kind of bracing that against a socket with a breaker bar, and eventually I was able to get that bolt free.
In order to get to the back intake bolts, you have to remove this coolant temperature sensor housing to gain access to those studs down in there.
Removing the nuts on this crossover pipe turned out to be very challenging. Next time I definitely would recommend pulling both heads off at the same time, leaving that crossover pipe attached to the manifolds. That would make it a lot easier coming off, and you can remove that pipe after it's completely off the motor.
Getting both the heads off, you want to look at the cylinders just to kind of see what they look like. We'll clean these up and make sure that the deck is nice and flat. It looks to be this cylinder here is obviously a lot cleaner in this region as compared to the other cylinders. So this is where the water was coming in, getting burned, which takes the carbon off the pistons.